7 of the redaction now. I think it's week 7. I called last week week 6, so I'm going to call this week week 7. It always confuses me. I've already seen the Pardon the Interceptions out week 6. So I'm like, oh, I don't know. We're going to do week 7. We're in the future.
Let's go with week 7.
Yeah. How you doing, Jez?
Good, thanks, mate. Good, yeah. All ticking over here nicely. How's
Good,
things your
good.
end?
Yeah, good. So we're doing a little bit of a daytime session today because we both managed to have a bit of free time. So we thought we'd bash one out during the day, which is why Matt can't
So
join
to
us today.
speak.
Yeah, because Matt's on the road, our road warrior today. He's not in a hotel yet. So we are here for week 7. We thought we'd have a little look back at some of the week 6 games before because we had a couple of doozies. Um, the one that myself and Brad talked about last week was Barbarians and Generals, and that did turn out to be a bit of a stonker. So let's have a little look at that. Right down at the bottom there. Right, so 31-34. So it was a three-pointer. We thought it would be close. What are your thoughts on this one, Jez?
Proper old ding dong, this wasn't it? It was went one way then the other, and both teams going at it. A bit of a toe to toe slugfest. Had a bit of everything. Had turnovers, had touchdowns. Um, Generals really sort of bossed it. They in terms of only a slightly more on the yardage and on the possession, but they had nearly twice as many first downs. They did give up one more turnover, which isn't, you know, that significant. But I think probably the right result came out in the end, but it was tight, very tight.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those games as well where it's tight all the way through. It's not like someone's gone out 14 points, 17 points, and then a bit of a comeback, and then a little bit of backwards and forwards. Um, it was tight all the way through. Um,
Yeah, and Boland threatened to run away with it for the Barbarians. Literally, your old boy, you know all about him.
yeah,
Um, I mean, they couldn't contain him. He's ended up with 9.1 yards per carry. Only one touchdown though, and Generals had much more modest figures on the running game, but still effective. They were averaging 4.6 and ended up with 5 touchdowns. So they were punching it over the line on the ground when they got there. A bit of a contrast in styles. Generals were more of a passing game, more of a passing team. But once they got in the red zone, they went straight to the ground, and that was very effective.
yeah, some good drives there. Um, 5 minutes 31 for the Barbarians, and it ending in that field goal. Maybe that was the big difference, but
Having
um,
Boland on your team is, I mean, this is exactly the reason, no doubt, you'll say exactly the reason why you had him and why you trained him up so high. Having a 40-40 running back that hits two zones at the if he's a high enough level, which he was when he was with you, and it looks like he's still a high enough level now. He's certainly in a level that's very effective. He's so hard to game plan against because you have to protect two zones, and then you've got to still worry about the passing game because you can't then just bring all of your linebackers in stopping the run. So he's the sort of player that having that one player on your team can just give the opposing head coach so many headaches.
yeah, absolutely. And when you've got when he was with me, I think Richard's got one here as now as well. Is when you've got a running back coach with the pass attribute as well. It does actually seem to help with the valve aspect as well. So you know, he's he's got three areas he's able to help with then, so he's still
Mm.
a receiver as well when it comes to it. Um, but really unfortunate for Richard. It's one of those ones that, if this had been a home game for the Barbarians, this probably would have been a different story. Um, and it just comes down to scheduling and that single game that you have against probably your closest each season. That if you finish second and third in their division, you're looking at that. That's my go-to every time their schedules come out. Is am I at home and on that divisional game that makes a difference? And if I'm
On that
not,
week
then
week 6. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So really unfortunate on the scheduling side of things, um, but we'll see what happens. The running for these two teams now, I think, is fairly similar as well. So, well, we'll come back if we've got a bit of time. We'll have a little look at that after the other games. The other ones we were going to touch on, um, we weren't going to go back to the Kings and Stingrays because I embarrassed myself back in Clay. You got absolutely torched by the Stingrays. Um, we were going to have a look at the Stampede Anacondas, um, mainly because it would have been an opportunity that Matt would have had to be able to talk about a road win, and he's not here for it. So we thought we'd have a look at it for him. So yeah, again, close game. It's that decider, but we've got an away and a road win this time.
Yeah. Yeah, big road win this one because the Condors have been decent at home and they're a decent side. Um, Matt's quarterback turned up this week, which he hasn't done on previous road games. I think that's been one of the biggest differences between the losses that he's had and the win this week. Quarterback played very well. Um, Angel still put up some yards on the ground as well. He's only averaging 4.4, but got 34 carries and stuck 150 yards on the board. So he ground them out. Um, just a hard fought win, I think.
Yeah, yeah. It's not often you see Hamilton's quarterback do a 83-yard handoff, right? Um, but he's managed to do that with Kemp again this week. Um,
I
yeah,
think Anacondas were missing Brennan though, weren't they?
they were. Yeah, I seem to remember Dave mentioning that one. I'll just double check. Yeah,
He's a big
Akintunde.
loss if they're missing him because he's their main uh, halfback coming through,
Oh yeah, yeah. Looking at
fullback.
fullback, a level 7, eighth round pick, 25, 35, 40. So yeah, definitely a missing piece there, which probably hampered the Anacondas a bit. Um, just having a look at the stances as well, see what we've got here. Cool, a lot of man coverage, a lot of man under. This
Which
is
Brennan were you looking at?
it was he's the fullback, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So I was
60,
yeah, so
60s.
yeah, so I was talking about the replacements. So Akatunde was
Ah,
the guy in his place, and you can tell
oh yeah.
he's not built for it. So yeah, Brennan a big miss.
No,
Um,
Brennan's out on a D. Well, he's on a D now. I don't know if he's recovered from that. Let's have a look. Yeah, so he was on an E.
yeah,
No point playing him on an E. So yeah, he's sat on injured reserve at the moment with a
there,
hand injury.
there is a lot. There is a lot of man coverage and a lot of man under in Anaconda's defense. So again, whether that helped um, the Stampede on the stancing side of things. 'Cause, Kemp's, they're both deep zoners, aren't they? Both of his receivers. 'Cause, um, Kemp's, they're both deep zoners, aren't they? Both of his receivers. 'Cause, um, Kemp's, they're both deep zoners, aren't they? Both of his receivers. 'Cause, um, Kemp's, they're both deep zoners, aren't they? Both of his receivers.
Let's have
So
a
yeah,
look.
so we might have seen a little bit more of the field because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good game though, and a heartwarming road win for Matt. I'm sure he'll have loved that.
yeah, absolutely. Puts him back in potential for playoffs. Barbarians and Scorpions still topping that one, but still in with a shout.
Yeah,
They,
I don't think realistically he's got a chance uh, of catching up with Johnny for the division. So it's all about a wild card spot, and they're currently outside of that reckoning because Magpies and Scorpions are both 5-1 in the east, and Generals and Barbarians both 5-1 in the north. So he's 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 got to just got to keep the results ticking over and hope that one or two of those drop a couple of games.
yep, yeah, no, definitely. He'll be hoping for a bit of that. Who knows that division
In the
CFL?
hunt. He'd be in the hunt category, wouldn't he?
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. He's got the Barbarians as well, um, so he's got some influence in how that finishes. He's also got the Generals, so those are going to be two interesting weeks for
Mm.
Stampede and their season. Right, let's have a little look at week 7 then. We're going to burn through these because we've got about 20 minutes until I've actually got to go and do some work today. Let's kick off with Monday Night Football. I saw this pop up on a feed somewhere, and I remembered you mentioning it. I just thought this is absolute quality. Um, so I'm going to have to try and get this changed a little bit and turn this into gridiron Monday Night Football. But that's pretty much what we're looking at every week, isn't it? Um, so this week we've got the Bears and
Yeah.
the Sun Devils. The Bears having a having a statement win this week. I know that because Kendall's posted it twice, once on the game review and also in the sound bites, or was it their news feed for the league? So
Yeah.
statement win. So we'll call that out for the baby bears. But this week they've got the Sun Devils. Um, so it could be another one. He reckons he's in with looking for a playoff berth. So again, this is another one that could get in there. Thoughts?
Uh, well, both teams. Well, if the Bears carry on putting results up, then they've got a chance. It's an outside chance, but he's still fighting for it, which is cool. Sun Devils don't look like they're going to bother the postseason on 2 and 4 at the moment. But bring it up here. I think what's letting the Sun Devils down more than anything else is their defense. Their offense isn't great, but it can put up some points. The defense is pretty leaky, 29th best defense in the league. And you're not going to get anywhere if your defense is that bad.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Um, so yeah, this could be quite a decent one actually for a Monday Night Football. We might have to upgrade it to the meme up. Um, let's have a little look at what we got. So, any call on a score for this one, Jess?
I've just seen Kendall's predictions record. He's on -1.
Okay, backed himself once. He might go to a zero if he backs himself again then.
Not sure about that. Right, well, Sunny D's Bears are improving, and they're one of these young rosters that can actually improve quite a lot through the season with more pops on a young roster than you get on a regular roster. So I've got a feeling they're going to carry on improving if their coaching goes to plan. And I think they might edge, even though Sunny D's have got a home field advantage. I think the Baby Bears can do this one, but I think it's going to be tight. I reckon 21-20 to the Bears.
21-20. Oh,
Point.
I'm going to go for. I'm going to back the Bears as well. Um, so I'm going to go with 34-20. I think for that one. But yeah, should be a good one. Right. So let's go on to the next one. Then I think you said Razorbacks and Scorpions was your game of the week.
Game of the week, this one, I reckon.
Game of the week. Game of the orange helmets. Let's have a little look. Let's bring this one up.
Both having very good seasons. Razorbacks are faultless at the moment. Scorpions just the one loss. 7th overall offense versus the 4th overall offense. Razorbacks with the 3rd best defense. Scorpions 14th, but Scorpions with home field advantage. So this one is going to be could be a really good game. Really importantly, Razorbacks have got a very strong special teams unit.
Mm-hmm.
They are top of the average starting position at 48 yards from their own end zone. So with a special teams that good, they don't have to do a heck of a lot to push into field goal position or even get to the goal line. So it's that makes their offensive stats even more impressive. The fact that they're the 7th overall offense and they don't have to go that far to get that. They're not starting from their own 10 or 15 yard line. They're starting from their own 48 yard line. That's really impressive.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Kilgannon, I love a good defensive end. He's sitting there pretty at the moment with 22 sacks for this season. Doing a
I think
great
they've
job.
got another. Their other defensive end's got a load of sacks as well.
Yeah, so we heard about Matt struggling against the Scorpions and their passing offense, and then we saw the Magpies managed to
Owen, yeah,
shut them down. So this could be good for the Razorbacks. They've got a bit of pressure to try and put on Pedigo. I think this might be the first test the Razorbacks have got this season. They've had a bit of a soft schedule, so this is going to be a really good indicator, I think, for Dan about where he is and whether he's looking like a solid number 1 or number 2 seed.
yeah. They won at the Rapiers in week 1, which was at the time looked like an incredible result and a real sort of statement by the Razorbacks. Until 5 weeks later, when the Rapiers are 1-6 or something,
Yep.
or 1-5, and that result isn't looking quite so good, but it was still a good result, an away win at the Rapiers. And yeah, you're right. Since then, their schedule hasn't been as testing as others, but they've got to go to Scorpions this week. Then in a couple of weeks, they've got Outlaws visiting. So they've got a couple of very tough tests coming up over these next 3 weeks. We'll see how their multicolored outfits get through this one.
So we're going to call on this one.
Poor. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Razorbacks to edge a road win. I'm gonna go 34-28 to the Razors.
Yeah, I like that. Trying to think, there's definitely a bit more of a run on them, so I like that score. I'm gonna go with the same sort of 28.
I'll go with the same score.
No, same direction. I'm gonna call it really tight. 1 minute, last minute field goal just to 1 point or 2 point win. So yeah, we're
Nice.
definitely back in the MFC at the moment. Okay,
Yeah.
should we have a little look at the Barbarians and Spartans then? Let's have a look at your game.
Yeah.
So we've had a little chat about the Barbarians already today.
Yeah. So I've got the dilemma of game planning for Boland.
Yes, that makes sense why you mentioned it earlier then.
Yeah, I've been looking at that. I haven't done the game plan yet because it's a it's a bit of a head scratcher, but um, yeah, I think it's going to be a case of bend not break on defense this week, just not over scheme things, and just kind of set the guys up and let them work it out.
Yeah, sounds
But
like a
Barb's are a good side. I'm glad we've got home field advantage in this one because if it was away, then it's that much harder. So yeah, the spread reckons we're 12-point favourites. I'll take that. That sounds about as comfortable as I'd like it, but I've got a feeling it's going to be a one-score game.
yeah, yeah. I was just having a look at Bowling. They've got number two in the rushing this season. That's not bad for a 40-40-20. Um, does that tell us something about the state of running backs within the Atlantic at the moment, or is he just having an outstanding season?
It's impressive. Well, they're a running team, aren't they? They're 24th in pass offense, so but 7th in rushing offense. So they're obviously a running team. But Boland's, I mean, he's a good player. He's obviously a good player. He's obviously still a high level. And the fact that he can hit either zone is such a weapon because you can normally a team is strong on the line or strong out wide. You don't normally get a team that's defensively strong on both because teams always put some sort of resource into pass defense, whether it's deep zone or whether it's linebacker. So there's investment in the secondary, and you'd normally get a weakness either in the line or on outside linebacker. So he's a real weapon. I mean, you know that better than anyone else, haven't you? He ran riot for you for 2 or 3 years, didn't he?
He did, yeah, he did. Yeah, yeah. Managed to take us to a bowl, so that was good.
Mm.
Um, yeah, this can be another good game. Injuries don't look too bad, apart from obviously your returner still being out with a knee. Um, so yeah, this is looking like another good game, and it could be one of these real disappointing ones for the Barbarians, where it could be another, like you say, a single score or another 3 pointer. Is what we've got there. So you're backing yourself, Jess.
Oh, we've got to back ourselves at home. I'd back ourselves at home against anyone. Um, so I'm going to go, but I still think it'd be a one-score game. I'm going to go 31-38.
31-38. Oh, I wonder if I should just duplicate this and just go with that. Because yeah, I don't know. Could be a shock. Could be one of the shocks. Could be a
Could
Meerkats
be,
Redcoats game this time around,
could be,
where it
could be a
comes down
wash
to
of
one.
turnovers.
Could be.
You never know.
Yeah, I'm gonna
5
go with
turnovers to none.
up my chances of a 28-27 game. But yeah, no, it should be a good one. There's three pretty, I think, pretty good games that we look like we've got there, even with the Monday night football at the moment. So let's finish off with Avalanche and Blues.
Avalanche and Blues.
I think this was the other one that you'd mentioned about
Yeah,
taking a look at, wasn't it? Yeah.
yeah. So Avalanche are looking all conquering this season, but they've played at least two, if not three, of their games without Lomo because of the rivalry. There's no rivalry this week, so they've got Lomo. I think I'm right in saying that.
Who knows
Um,
anymore? Who knows?
we'll find out when we look at the team sheets after the game, but
Absolutely, yeah.
that's my take on it. Blues are a good side, so they're no mugs. You're not going to walk over them. The spread reckons Blues have got it with a spread of 4. Um, I think this is going to be a very tight game. With Lomo, if they do have Lomo, that's going to hurt them. I think Avalanche are going to find it tough going to Frankfurt.
Yeah, there's a few little niggly injuries. Hill's got to see still. I can't remember if he's still their number one rusher. Oh, that's interesting. He's got Rod, and Rod, I believe, used to be a Blues RB, didn't he? Oh, that's because I'm looking
Yeah.
at the wrong side. There we go. Akers.
Akers Akers. Both rushing teams, so it's going to be a ground game. Avalanche have got more of a passing offense, but Blues have got number one defense in the league. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So let's have a little look. Is that because they have a good defense, or what's that look like? So Meerkats, Sonics, Mariners lost to the Comets, and then Sonics and Cyclones. So again, could be down to scheduling. Um,
fair to say they haven't had the toughest of schedules up to week 6, but they've now got Avalanche, then the Snow Bears in week 9. So they've got
yep.
a couple of good tests coming up.
Yeah, definitely. Um,
Yeah, I know that those stats are just done on yardage, aren't they? So it can be deceptive if you've had
yeah,
a decidedly different strength of schedule than the next team.
yeah. No, absolutely. But you kind of hope after 6 weeks of games that you're getting to a little bit of relative kind of maybe there's some truth in there, but again, it's a bit hard on the MFC side of things, where a lot of teams kind of seeming to be in that rebuild cycle. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, what's your call on this one?
After saying everything about them being in for a tough game, I still think Avalanche are going to edge it, but
Mm.
I think it's going to be a tight one. I think it's going to be something like 28-24.
Oh, proper tight one. Um, yep, I am gonna be going a little bit higher. I think we're gonna go with something like a 45-17. I think the Blues. We looked at the beginning of the season. They're in one of the weakest divisions in the Atlantic this season. Going on um, preview and training camp stuff. So I think there's a little bit of a hidden message there. Um, we'll find out this week. But I think they're going to get turned over, even if that low mode does kick in. I think they've got the ability to do the Blues proper.
Lomo watch. We'll be on Lomo watch.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll bring that back. Right. So there we go. There's our rapid tour around 4 of the games this week in Interconference week. Um, who do you think is going to come out the better on Interconference? LFC or MFC this time around?
Um, I think MFC.
MFC, yeah.
I think the
Uh,
M. I think the M's are going to do it this week.
yeah. Hope so. Hope so. I think it'll probably be close. Be 2 games in it, but yeah, let's hope the MFC do manage it. Right. So That's all I've definitely got time for this time around. I've managed to sort out our little Super Bowl preview thing. So through the magic of editing, I'm gonna put it around about there, so that if anybody wants to take a look at it, it will be there for them to have a look at. We did that in week 2, so it'll be good for us to have a look back over that and see how far off we think we are at the moment. But
And how
yeah,
awful our judgment was back
indeed,
4 weeks
indeed.
ago. Nice.
Yeah, but thanks for joining me, Jez, during the day, and enjoy the rest of it.
No
Thanks a lot.
worries. Cheers.
Bye.